Hello. Hello, my name is Jorb. I love gear. In front of me now is the Bass Station 2, a monosynth quickly becoming one of my favorites. I talked about it recently in a video, Do You Really Get What You Pay For? And I compared 3 monos in very different prices. And I mentioned the AFX mode, but I didn't demonstrate it. And enough people have said that that's worth doing. And enough people have mentioned it since that I said, you know what? I think I'll sit down and do it. I'm going to run through 3 examples of ways I think AFX mode can be very, very handy. And those are going to be the one everybody shows you, a drum kit. I'm going to use it in that we have one patch that's normal and standard across most of the key bed, and then 1 or 2 are going to be risers. For example, say you're playing live, you hit these stingers twice in a song or whatever, the whole rest of the time you're playing something simple. No reason to worry about fussing about changing patches. You've got it all saved in there already. And lastly, we're going to use AFX mode as kind of a really long-winded way of accomplishing using the key bed as a modulation source, which I don't think is in exceptional utilization, but it makes me think about it in a different way, and I think, therefore, it's worth demonstrating. So, let us get into it. Okay, so our first example, we're going to do a drum kit, and to get into AFX mode in the first place, hold function, you press swing twice, and then we get this O and then number, 0 through 8. 0 means no overlay, which is what A stands for. What O stands for, excuse me. And then each of the other ones is a slot like your sequencer slots. So any changes in overlay 1 will be those changes for any patch that uses overlay 1, not just this one, okay? So we're going to stick with 1. And now, if I hold any key and make a change, it'll be different. Okay, and that is exactly the theory of how we're going to do a drum machine. On each of these keys, I'm going to program a different drum sound. And I'm going to jump around through that a lot because I don't know how interesting it'll actually be, but I will still describe everything that I'm doing. So for my kick, it's going to be just a K. A little bit of release. Enough attack to get rid of that click. Cool. None of the other ones are changed. Just our first one. Hi-hat. I'm just going to do noise. This is just high-pass filtered noise. I changed my kick on accident at some point. Good hi-hat. I'm going to see if I can do a snare. That's pretty good. I need to hit harder. Okay, that's enough for my demonstration. You can do up to these 25 keys in the center octave here. But let's say I go to record. That'll actually be enough. There's my super cheesy, very simple example of making a drum kit. If I play up here, it loses it. There we you go. And just for example's sake, if I want to keep that overlay that way, I go into this same spot where we were, swing twice, 01, and then I hit save there. And it saves that overlay 1. So if here I am on a new patch, it functions swing, swing, overlay 1. Those changes are there as well. And I don't know if there's a good way to clear it. I'm going to pull it up right now. If there is a good way to clear it on the keyboard. There's a 3 months old update about this where they say, we're looking to implement the ability to clear from the device in the future. If you have any ideas on how you would like to see this implemented, let us know. Well, Novation, if you ask me, hit swing a third time, and then maybe there's a CO on screen, and you hit save, or change that to a 1 or something. I don't know if that works for you. That works for me. So you can't clear overlays from this, but there's software that'll let you do it. So for my next example, I'm just going to go into old function swing, swing, overlay 2, which is unedited. I'm going to start with a different patch. So I'm going to turn off overlays just because. Go back to a patch that I know I like. And I'm going to save it over that 16. Okay. And I'm hitting both these at the same time to make sure I'm at octave 0. This is the patch that I like that I'm going to use for most of my song, and I'm not going to edit it that much live. Well, I could come in here to overlay 2. Let's say I have a riser or a stinger partway through the song, and I don't want to change patches to do that, but it still is coming from the bass station. Well, I can use these 2 high notes that I will tell myself now I can't play when I'm just normally using the synth. And I just need to come in and do that, hit my riser. Cool. I don't even think I need to demonstrate that again, but I will, because it's fun. It's just, I don't even know what I'm going to do. Something wacky. There you go. There you go. There's my little example. Imagine that. You're on stage. You hit that insane shit. Go right into your bass riff. Like, come on, the crowd's going nuts. Singer's smiling at you because you hit your cue. This next example, treating the key bed like a modulation source. Okay, I don't think this is an excellent idea, and I mean that, but it does make me think of AFX mode in a different way. Instead of doing wacky, outlandish stuff, you can use it to accomplish some very reasonable modulation choices. And so by default, let me get back to the right octave. By default, the only thing that has key tracking is the filter on newly updated bass stations. You can't do that with anything else, but one of the things I really like to do is increase vibrato as I go up the key bed. And we can do that pretty simply. So right now I don't have an overlay on. Okay, 0. And I'm going to put my vibrato speed here. And I'm going to, let's just do one oscillator for now. So we're at 0, we're at 0 LFO depth on all of them right now. Okay, but we're going to go into overlay and we'll use 3. So we want 0, and then let's do 1, 6, 7, 11, 16, and on and on. And turn our delay to 0. And now as we go up, it's too much. But you get the idea. Almost useless example. And I think I have a slightly better idea. So right now, oscillator 1 all the way up, oscillator 2 all the way down, and I don't have any overlay on. Okay, and so I like these settings for oscillator 1. Simple. Now I'm going to set up oscillator 2 to be something different. So here's our starting place. 1 is all the way up, 2 is all the way down, but I've already set up some settings on 2. So when I finish my little project, we can hear something. 5 is fine. Okay. Nothing on the first one. And I'll bring down and bring up each oscillator mixer just a bit. Okay. Wow. Again, I think this is a little gimmicky. Or if I want to really clearly divide my lines, this is sort of a cheating way to make splits. Now we are kind of limited, not just by the keyboard, but you can only have 25. These are the only 25 notes that get recognized by the overlay. So even if you have a MIDI keyboard with more keys, this is as far as your split could go. So it's not the best way to implement this or a great example. There's two parts of the same song. Again, you're now limited to 1 octave, more or less for each of your parts. If you're actually a good keyboard player, you could do some very compelling call and response. It's the sloppiest demonstration of that idea ever, but you get the idea. Because you can change the patch on any key, it doesn't have to be wacky, insane, completely different patch on each one. You can do a split. Alrighty, there you go. There's your 3 examples. That last one, I want to summarize it here, and it's not thinking of these as, wacky individual patches, it's microtonal, and they're so different, or these sequences are ever evolving, or whatever. The options you can get from this AFX mode are valuable in a very conventional way for a lot of synthesis options. Splits is totally fundamental. I want to be able to do that on my synth, and being able to crossfade and things like that are not outlandish or crazy at all. They're very practical. And I think when people see, AFX Twin, this is going to be insane, and the options you get are, but it can be very grounded. You can get some very reasonable functionality out of it. I digress. The only one I can see myself really, really using is a couple risers or stingers or whatever on 2 keys, and the rest of the key bed is normal. Since you only get 2 + 1 octaves, I don't see a split being super valuable, a true split being super valuable. Crossfading, maybe. But the drum kit, probably not. I'd rather just sample it. So anyway, there's my little demo of AFX mode. Super straightforward, not very deep. just to get you thinking about it again, or maybe thinking about it in a different way. My name has been Jorb. I love gear that includes the Base Station 2. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I will see you in the next one.